Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about simplifying fractions. So let's start off with a circle. I promise that's a circle, believe me. If I were to split this circle in half, then obviously this would be a half and that would be a half. But if I split it in half again, then this would be a quarter and that would be a quarter. So a quarter plus a quarter would be 2 quarters. So this, although it's half, it's also 2 quarters. So 2 quarters is equal to a half. So we would never really talk about, if you ate a pizza, you'd never tell someone, oh look, yesterday I ate 2 quarters of a pizza. You'd say a half. So what you want to do is we usually talk about, let's say, fractions in the simplest form. But how do we go from the one to the other? So just a little bit of words that we use. So if we go from a fraction like this with bigger numbers to a smaller one, we would say we reduce it or we simplify it. And if we were to go the other way, so if I had a half and I wanted to write it as quarters, I would expand it. So let's just take a look at what we did. So if we have 2 over 4, I would ask myself first, I'd find the common factors. So what is a common factor between 2 and 4? Obviously 1, but that's not going to help me. So I'd ask myself what factors are common between 2 and 4. So the factors for 2 is obviously 1 and 2. The factors for 2 is 1 and 2, and the factors for 4 is 1, 2, and 4. So we see that 2 is common. So then I can ask myself, 2, how many times can 2 go into 2, or 2 divided by 2? That would be 1, and that's where I get the 1. And 4 divided by 2 would be 2, and that's where I get the 2. So let's take a look at some other examples. So let's say I had 15 over 25, and I wanted to simplify it. Then I ask myself, what number can go into 15 that can go into 25? So 5 can. So how many times will 5 go into 15? Or what is 15 divided by 5? That would be 3. And what is 25 divided by 5? So whatever I do with the top, I do at the bottom. So 25 divided by 5 would be 5. Simple. So let's take a look at another example. Let's take 16 over 32. So what you would want to do is you'd want to get the largest common factor. In this case, the largest common factor between 16 and 32 would be 16, because 16 could go into 16 and it could go into 32. So this is actually a half. But let's say you don't know, maybe you don't find the largest factor. So maybe you think 2 is one, the common factor. So what you can do is you can divide both sides by, top and bottom by 2, the numerator and the denominator, both you can divide by 2. So if I had 16 divided by 2, that would be 8. And 32 divided by 2 would be 16. So this is still an equivalent fraction, but it's not the most, or this like the most reduced form or the most simplified form. So I can do 2 again. So how many times, or what is 8 divided by 2? That would be 4. And 16 divided by 2 would be 8. And I can do it again. So either I can divide by 2, then 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 8 divided by 2 is 4, and eventually I'll get to a half. But if I divided by 16 from the start, I'd get here a lot quicker. Or if I divided by 8 here, I could get there. For 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 16 divided by 8 is 2. So simplifying fractions is just all about understanding what common factors there are, top and bottom, and then dividing by those factors.